Hi there. Welcome to Lesson 1 of Module 2 Color Theory for Surface Pattern Design. In our past lesson, you built your very own color wheel, and you explore mixing secondary and tertiary colors. Good progress. Now it's time for one of my favorite topics, color harmony. Don't worry, it's easy. It's the way colors interact to create contrast, mood, and balance in your designs. Using the color wheel from our past lesson, you'll learn how to mix and apply analogous, complementary, triadic, and split-complementary colors. So let's dive in.
Color harmony is when colors look good together. It's like when friends get along. Some colors just naturally play nicely with each other. Color harmony is the relationship rule between colors. Complementary, analogous, triadic, split complementary, and more. And then each color harmony holds a certain amount of color schemes. And these ones are the actual set of colors you choose using that rule. So, what is a complementary harmony and which color schemes belong to it? A complementary harmony is a color harmony made from two colors that sit opposite each other on the color wheel. These opposite colors create strong contrast and make each other stand out. Red and green are a complementary color scheme. Yellow and purple are a complementary color scheme. Yellow, green, and red, purple are also a complementary color scheme. They all belong to the complementary harmony because each pair uses opposite colors on the color wheel. There are more complementary color schemes, and we will explore them in our hands-on exercise. So, what is an analogous harmony and which color schemes belong to it? An analogous harmony is a color harmony made from colors that sit next to each other on the color wheel. These neighboring colors are closely related and create a smooth, calm, and unified look. Red and red-orange. Yellow, yellow-orange, and orange. These are analogous color schemes. Each of these is a different color scheme, but they all belong to the analogous harmony because they use colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. There are more analogous color schemes, and we will explore them in our hands-on exercise. So, what is a triadic harmony and which color schemes belong to it? A triadic harmony is a color harmony made from three colors that are evenly spaced around the color wheel. These colors are far apart but still balanced, creating a vibrant and energetic look. Red, yellow, and blue are a triadic color scheme. Orange, green, and purple are a triadic color scheme. Each of these is a different color scheme, but they all belong to the triadic harmony because they use three evenly spaced colors on the color wheel. There are more triadic color schemes, and we will explore them in our hands-on exercise. So, what is a split complementary harmony and which color schemes belong to it? A split complementary harmony is a color harmony that starts with one base color and then uses the two colors next to its complementary color on the color wheel. This creates strong contrast, but is softer and more balanced than a true complementary harmony. Blue with red-orange and yellow-orange is a split complementary color scheme. This color scheme belongs to the split complementary harmony because it uses one base color and the two colors beside its complementary on the color wheel. There are more split complementary color schemes, and we will explore them in our hands-on exercise. Today, what we will need to have on hand are at least 3 sheets of paper divided into 70 or 80 squares each. Try to make the squares as similar in size as possible. I usually just eyeball them, but you can absolutely use a ruler if you prefer. We will also need a color palette, a glass filled with water, a rag or paper towel. These are actually tissues because they were what I had closest to me. A brush, and lastly, our color wheel. We created this color wheel from scratch in a previous lesson. Since this curriculum is built lesson by lesson, I really encourage you to explore that lesson first if you would like to better understand what a color wheel is and how to create one. The idea is to keep this color wheel inside our sketchbook as a reference and guide, not only for this lesson, but for future creative work as well. Before we begin, we will also place all the colors from our color wheel onto our palette. I will not guide the color mixing process in this lesson because we already explored that together previously. So go ahead, prepare your palette, and feel free to pause the video if you need time to mix your colors before we continue our journey through this lesson. And here we have them. All the colors from our color wheel are now placed onto our palette and ready to work with. So let's begin. For our first harmony study, we will need to cut our paper into 6 square pairs, making a total of 12 squares. This first color harmony we will work on is called the complementary color harmony. As we learned in our theory lesson, a complementary harmony is made from 2 colors that sit opposite each other on the color wheel. So if we sit on red, the opposite color is green and vice versa. If we sit on green, the opposite color is red. And this pair becomes our first color scheme within the complementary harmony. And we will place it right here. Before painting, make sure all your pigments are ready on your palette. We will apply red here first. Then, before switching pigments, remember to clean and dry your brush. We do not want to contaminate our colors and accidentally create muddy pigments. We want our colors to stay clean, vibrant, and clear. Once your brush is clean, go ahead and apply green in the second square. Take your time painting those, and I will meet you once they are finished. Moving clockwise through the color wheel, our second complementary color scheme is red-orange and blue-green. We will place those colors right here. Go ahead and paint your red-orange first. Then remember, before switching pigments, clean and dry your brush again. Keeping this habit will help your work stay fresh and crisp throughout the entire lesson. Once your brush is ready, apply blue-green into the next square. And I will see you once those are painted. Continuing on, our next complementary pair is orange and blue. And remember, complementary colors always work both ways. If someone asks, what is the complement of orange? The answer is blue. And if someone asks for the complement of blue, the answer is orange. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, right? We will place that pair right here. Our next complementary color scheme is yellow-orange and blue-purple. And we will place those colors here. From there, we move into yellow and purple. And remember, all complementary pairs work both ways around the wheel. We will place those colors right here. And finally, our last complementary combination is yellow-green and red-purple. As always, these relationships work in reverse as well, and we will place those colors here. By actively building a complementary harmony ourselves, we learned how it works and explored the 6 color schemes it offers. We then added every combination to our complementary harmony color study sheet. I encourage you to label the back of your color study sheet with complementary color harmony, so you can easily recognize it later when we continue working with these studies in this lesson. For our next harmony study, we will need a larger color study sheet because this harmony offers us 12 color schemes in total. That means we will need 24 squares altogether. I also just noticed our water is getting pretty dirty. So let's go ahead and replace it with clean water before continuing into our next harmony study. Our next harmony is called the analogous color harmony. An analogous harmony is made from colors that sit next to each other on the color wheel. Analogous harmonies can be built using pairs, trios, or even larger groupings. But for this lesson, we will focus on pairs first and later move into trios. As always, we will continue working clockwise around the wheel. We will begin sitting on red. The direct neighbor moving clockwise is red-orange. And together, these two colors create our first analogous color scheme. We will place them right here. Moving forward, our second analogous pair is red-orange and orange. And we will place those here.
Next, we have orange and yellow-orange. Then we move into yellow-orange and yellow. Our fifth analogous pair is yellow and yellow-green. Following that, we have yellow-green and green. Our seventh scheme is green and blue-green. If your water has become cloudy or muddy, this is a great time to switch it out for fresh water before continuing. Now, continuing onward, our eighth analogous pair is blue-green and blue. Next comes blue and blue-purple. Then we have blue-purple and purple. After that, we move into purple and red purple. And finally, our 12th analogous pair is red purple and red. And just like that, we completed our analogous harmony study using pairs of colors. I encourage you to write analogous harmony pairs on the back of your color study sheet so you can remember which harmony this study belongs to later on. Now, we will continue exploring analogous harmony
but this time we will build it using trios instead of pairs. For this section, we will need a color study sheet with enough space for 12 trios, which means 36 squares in total. And as always, whenever our water becomes dirty, we replace it with clean water so our colors remain bright and clear. We will continue moving clockwise around the wheel. Remember, analogous harmonies are built from neighboring colors. We begin with red. Right beside it is red-orange, and beside red-orange is orange. Together, these three colors create our first analogous trios, and we will place them right here. To build our second trio, we follow a simple rule. We begin from the second color of the previous scheme. Since our first trio was red, red-orange, and orange, our next trio becomes red-orange, orange, and yellow-orange. We will place those right here. Following the same process, our next trio becomes orange, yellow-orange, and yellow. Then we move into yellow-orange, yellow, and yellow-green. Next comes yellow, yellow-green, and green. Then yellow-green, green, and blue-green. Our seventh trio is green, blue-green, and blue. Next comes blue-green, blue,
and blue-purple. Then blue, blue-purple, and purple. After that, we have blue-purple, purple, and red-purple. Our 11th trio becomes purple, red-purple, and red. And finally, our last analogous trio is red-purple, red, and red-orange. And we did it. We explored the second way of building an analogous harmony by working in trios. As we have been doing, make sure to label the back of this study sheet before setting it aside safely with the rest of your harmony studies. Now let's bring in fresh water for our next harmony study because we're moving into the triadic color harmony. A triadic harmony is made from three colors that are evenly spaced around the color wheel, creating a balanced triangle of color relationships. For this harmony study, we will need a color study sheet with enough space for 4 trios, giving us a total of 12 squares, which is formed by the primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. Go ahead and place those colors right here. Our second triadic scheme is created using the secondary colors orange, green, and purple. Together, these colors also form a perfect triangle across the color wheel. Let's place those colors right here. Moving into our third triadic scheme, we will use the tertiary colors red-orange, yellow-green, and blue-purple. Let's place those colors right here. And finally, our last triadic scheme is made from yellow-orange, blue-green, and red-purple. We will place those here. And now we have explored every color scheme within the triadic color harmony. I encourage you to label the back of this study sheet before placing it safely with the rest of your harmony studies. Now let's refresh our water one more time because we are about to move into our final harmony study, and honestly, one of my favorites, the split complementary harmony. For this section, we will need a color study sheet with space for 12 trios, making a total of 36 squares. Once your setup is ready, we can begin. A split complementary harmony starts by choosing one color on the wheel. Then we find its direct complement, but instead of using that exact opposite color, we use the two colors sitting directly beside it. We start with red. The direct complement of red is green, but we will not use green itself. Instead, we will use the two colors beside green. Together, red, yellow-green, and blue-green form our first split complementary scheme. Moving forward, our second scheme begins with red-orange. The direct complement we will skip is blue-green, and instead we will use the neighboring colors, green and blue. We will place those here. Next, we move into orange. Its direct complement is blue, which we will not use. Instead, we will choose the colors beside blue, blue-green, and blue-purple. We will place those right here. Our next split complementary scheme begins with yellow-orange. Its direct complement is blue-purple, so instead we use blue and purple. Go ahead and place those colors here. Oh wow, our water is getting very cloudy again. We definitely do not want muddy water affecting our color studies, so this is a perfect time to replace it with fresh water before continuing. Now, continuing onward, our fifth scheme begins with yellow. The direct complement we skip is purple, and instead we use blue-purple and red-purple. We will place those here. Next comes yellow-green. Its direct complement is red-purple. So instead we work with purple and red. Place those colors right here. Our seventh split complementary scheme begins with green. Its direct complement is red, but instead of red, we use red-orange and red-purple. We will place those here. If your water is dirty again like mine, go ahead and refresh it before continuing. Now, moving into our eighth scheme, we begin with blue-green. Its direct complement is red-orange, and instead we use red and orange. Place those colors right here. Next comes blue. Its direct complement is orange, so instead we use red-orange and yellow-orange. We will place those here. Our 10th scheme begins with blue-purple. Its direct complement is yellow-orange, and instead we use orange and yellow. Let's place those right here. And I'm bringing fresh water one more time before we continue because my water keeps getting so dirty so fast. Now, our 11th split complementary scheme begins with purple. Its direct complement is yellow, so instead we use yellow-orange and yellow-green. We will place those here. And finally, our 12th and last split complementary scheme begins with red-purple. Its direct complement is yellow-green, and instead we use yellow and green. We will place those colors right here. And wow, we did it! We just explored the major harmonies of the color wheel through hands-on practice. Complementary harmony, analogous harmony in pairs, analogous harmony in trios, triadic harmony, and split complementary harmony. I encourage you to label this final study sheet and place it safely with all the harmony studies we have created so far. Now, before we glue these into our sketchbook, I want to take this exercise a little bit further. I want us to move beyond simply placing color schemes onto a page and begin truly exploring color. Because color harmony is not only about memorizing combinations, it is about discovering possibilities, building intuition, and slowly developing our own artistic voice. So if you simply want to place your harmony studies into your sketchbook as they are, that is completely okay. But if you want to take this exercise to the next level, keep following along with me, because this next part is where things become really fun. This process allows us to build a more personal relationship with color. We begin noticing which combinations feel exciting to us, which ones feel calm, dramatic, playful, soft, or bold. And little by little, these explorations help us discover who we are as artists. We are going to continue working with the harmonies we already built, but now we will introduce tints and shades into our explorations. Using our color wheel as a guide, we will create one tint of every color and one shade of every color. We are not building full value scales in this lesson. We are simply creating one lighter version and one darker version of each color to expand our harmony studies. And I know many of you already know how this works because we explored it in previous lessons, but I will quickly demonstrate it again. To create a tint, we add white to a color. To create a shade, we add black. So let's bring our palette back into the workspace along with some white paint. We will begin working clockwise around the color wheel, starting with red. First, we will mix some white with our red. Before switching pigments, remember to clean and dry your brush.
Then we mix the white into the red until we find a tint we enjoy. You can add just a little white for a soft tint, or much more white for a lighter, smoother version of the color. I think I want mine slightly lighter, so I will add a little more white to mine so you can really see the difference. Once you find a tint you like, go ahead and paint a few squares with it. I will paint 2 squares, but I encourage you to paint at least 3 so you have more material to explore with later. And this is the process we will repeat for every color on our wheel. I am marking the remaining spaces I need because we still have 11 more colors to tint. Now we will move into shades. Shading works exactly the same way, except instead of adding white, we add black. We will begin once again with red. Now black is a very powerful pigment. I like calling it loud because even a tiny amount can dramatically darken a color very quickly. So my suggestion is to begin with very small amounts and slowly build in depth until you find a shade you really love. If you already know you enjoy deep dramatic shades, then go ahead and trust your instincts. I should probably clean and dry my brush properly right now, but honestly, I am just going to quickly tap it and keep it mixing. Do not do what I just did. Even though I sometimes break my own rules while painting, building the habit of cleaning and drying your brush carefully will really help you later when creating cleaner palettes and surface design work. And this shade feels good to me, so I will go ahead and use it. Now we will continue building the rest of our tints and shades for every color on the wheel. I'll see you once we have it all ready. And this is what we end up with. All the tints on one side and all the shades on the other. I will also leave a link in the description below to our lesson about body scales if you haven't gone through that lesson yet. Now, our next step will be cutting. We are going to cut apart our tints, our shades, and our first harmony study, which is the complementary harmony. This is what mine looks like so far. And to make the most out of all the material we created, we are going to cut these colors into even smaller pieces. Let me show you what I mean. So now it looks something like this. Here we have our first color scheme from the complementary harmony. I cut each main color into 6 smaller pieces. And then I cut each tint and shade into 12 smaller pieces, so I would have plenty of options to explore with later. I also want to show you how to organize everything so we do not get overwhelmed by all the little color pieces. And this is how I personally do it. You can see that I placed all the original colors from the color wheel around the inside circle of my palette. And then around the outside edge, I placed the tints and shades belonging to each color directly above them. This is a really helpful way to maintain control while color studying, especially once we begin building more complex combinations. So take your time cutting everything apart. And honestly, if I were you, I would leave the rest of the harmony studies intact for now. Only cut apart your tints, your shades, and your complementary harmony study. That will already give us plenty to work with. Now we are ready to begin placing our complementary harmony studies into our sketchbook. Let me show you how this might look. We will begin with our first complementary scheme. Red and green. Go ahead and glue or tape those colors into your sketchbook page. And now the fun truly begins. This is where we start playing with color. Remember, every color now has its own tint and shade variation. So instead of only working with the pure red and pure green, I might grab a regular red and then pair it with a shade of green instead. And just like that, we already begin creating a completely different feeling while still staying inside the same harmony. Now, maybe I grab a tint of red and pair it with a tint of green. And look at that. They are still part of the complementary harmony and still belong to the red and green color scheme, but the mood changes entirely. This is what I mean when I say we are taking the harmony study beyond the basic color wheel. We are beginning to explore interpretation, atmosphere, softness, contrast, and personality inside color. So I will continue experimenting with all the different options available to me. Now, if we had created multiple tints and multiple shades for every color, we will have even more possibilities to play with. But honestly, this is already such a beautiful way to begin exploring color relationship more deeply. You might also notice that I place my exploratory studies underneath the original harmony scheme. And I do this because I like keeping the original scheme visible as a reference point. So later I can clearly remember where each study came from. You could also write little notes beside your studies if you want, something like color scheme, red and green. Whatever helps you organize your explorations in a way that feels natural to you. Now, we will continue moving clockwise through the complementary harmony. Our next scheme is red-orange and blue-green. We will place the original scheme here, and underneath it, you can begin creating your own tint and shade explorations. Take your time with this process. I really want to give you freedom during these explorations because this is where the work becomes more personal and intuitive. So I will continue working on mine as well, and I will meet you again once we have explored all the schemes from the complementary harmony. And you did it. Now we will repeat the same process with our other harmony studies. Here I have my analogous harmony study using pairs. And I want you to notice something. We still have leftover pieces from our color wheel colors sitting on the palette. So honestly, if I were you, I would continue using these leftover pieces first before cutting into new studies. And whenever you run out of a color, then you can simply cut out more pieces from your color harmony study sheets. That way, you do not end up with hundreds of teeny colorful paper pieces overflowing all over your palette. So let's continue. We will begin exactly the same way we did with the complementary harmony. I will demonstrate the first analogous example with you, and then I will let you continue independently afterwards. Our first analogous pair is red and red-orange. We place those onto the sketchbook first, then we begin exploring. Maybe I pair a regular red with a shade of red-orange. Or maybe a tint of red with a tint of red-orange. Mm, Actually, switching this around gives me an interesting idea. See, that is exactly how color exploration works. Sometimes simply rearranging the same pieces creates an entirely different visual feeling. And this is why I encourage playfulness during these exercises. There is no single perfect arrangement. We are learning to respond to color emotionally and intuitively. So I will let you continue exploring your analogous harmony studies independently, and I will meet you once we are ready to continue together. And honestly, I am so happy I was able to share this process with you because this is where color harmony becomes so much more than simple theory. We begin moving beyond the basic wheel and into real exploration. For the remaining harmonies, I will not demonstrate every single study myself because I truly want to see what you create independently. But I will continue placing the original harmony schemes as guides, and I really encourage you to continue building your own explorations underneath them because the more you practice this exercise and the more you play with color, the more intuitive color becomes. You begin developing visual memory, confidence, and instinct, and later, when you are creating color palettes for patterns, collections, paintings, or surface design projects, you will naturally build palettes that feel more authentic and personal to you. Now, we will continue with our analogous harmony in trios. Our first trio is red, red, orange, and orange. We will place those colors right here. And underneath them, I will leave space for you to play with color combinations. Now, our next trio is red, orange, orange, and yellow, orange. We will place that right here. Moving forward, our next scheme becomes orange, yellow, orange, and yellow. Then yellow, orange, yellow, and yellow, green. At this point, I just ran out of yellow. Remember what I mentioned earlier. Whenever you run out of a color, simply cut more pieces from one of your study sheets. So I am adding more yellow now before continuing. Our next trio becomes yellow, yellow-green, and green. Then yellow-green, green, and blue-green. Next, green, blue-green, and blue. Then blue-green, blue, and blue-purple. I just noticed I also ran out of blue and blue-purple, so let me quickly add more of those colors too. Now, continuing onward, our next trio is blue, blue-purple, and purple. Then blue-purple, purple, and red-purple. After that, purple, red-purple, and red. And finally, red-purple, red, and red-orange. And there we have it, our full analogous harmony in trios explored inside the sketchbook. Now we will move into our triadic color harmony studies. And by this point, we are honestly becoming very comfortable with the color wheel and color harmonies. So this process should begin feeling smoother and more intuitive. Our first triadic scheme is red, yellow, and blue. We will place those colors right here. Next, we move into orange, green, and purple. Go ahead and place those here. Moving into our third triadic scheme, we will use red-orange, yellow-green, and blue-purple. We will place those colors right here. And finally, our last triadic scheme is yellow-orange, blue-green, and red-purple. We will place those here. And I just wanted to mention something quickly. Working with harmony studies that include three colors instead of two can become such a joyful experience because there are suddenly so many more relationships and moods we can explore. So, if you decide to continue building additional color studies underneath these triadic schemes, I would absolutely love to see what you create. Feel free to tag me on Instagram at the Whims of the Heart so I can celebrate your explorations with you. And now we arrive at our final harmony study, the split complementary harmony. Honestly, I really love this harmony. There is something so balanced and playful about it at the same time. So let's begin. Our very first split complementary scheme starts with red. The direct complement of red is green. But remember, in a split complementary harmony, we do not use the direct complement itself. Instead, we use the two colors sitting beside it, yellow-green and blue-green. Together, these colors create our first split complementary scheme. Moving into our second scheme, we begin with red-orange. If you have not yet created a color study underneath your previous scheme, feel free to leave yourself space before placing this next one. Now, the direct complement of red-orange is blue-green, which we will skip. Instead, we use the neighboring colors, green and blue. Our next split complementary scheme begins with orange. Its direct complement is blue, which we will not use. Instead, we choose the colors beside blue, blue-green and blue-purple. Now, we move into yellow-orange. Its direct complement is blue-purple, so instead we use blue and purple. Our next scheme begins with yellow. Its direct complement is purple, which we leave out, and instead we use blue-purple and red-purple. Continuing onward, our next scheme starts with yellow-green. Its direct complement is red-purple, so instead we use purple and red. Next comes green. Its direct complement is red, but instead we use red purple and red orange. Our next scheme begins with blue green. Its direct complement is red orange, which we skip, so instead we use red and orange. Moving forward, our next scheme starts with blue. Its direct complement is orange, and instead we use red orange and yellow orange. Now we move into blue purple. Its direct complement is yellow orange, so instead we use orange and yellow. Next comes purple. Its direct complement is yellow, but instead we use yellow orange and yellow green. And finally, our last split complementary scheme begins with red purple. Its direct complement is yellow green, which we leave out, so instead we use yellow and green. And wow, look at everything we created together. We studied complementary harmony, analogous harmony in pairs, analogous harmony in trios, triadic harmony, and split complementary harmony, not only by memorizing theory, but by physically building, arranging, painting, cutting, organizing, and exploring each harmony with our own hands. And honestly, that is one of the most beautiful ways to learn color. I really encourage you to keep all of these studies safe because we will continue using them throughout future lessons, especially once we begin creating more intentional palettes for surface design and pattern work. And before we finish, I want to leave you with one final thought. Color harmony is not about finding one perfect combination, it's about exploration.
Once you understand how these color relationships work, you'll be ready to set moods, guide the eye, and create color palettes that feel both balanced and intentional. For now, I invite you to keep playing. Try out each color harmony and notice how they make you feel. Add notes to your sketchbook about which color combinations you felt more drawn towards to and why. There is no wrong way on the journey to finding your style. And if you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and keep creating with heart. Whenever you're ready, feel free to move on to the next lesson in this curriculum. It's waiting for you.